is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another episode of My Team Makeover. We've done a lot of episodes here. Just another one this weekend to be eligible in My Team Makeover. I put out a tweet every weekend, usually Saturday or Sunday. All you got to do is reply to that tweet with your team and MT amount to be eligible to be in this video. Before we go any further, if you are new to the channel and have not yet, please smash the subscribe button as we're on the road to 35,000 subscribers. So this squad was set in by Killa Josh. On Twitter says he has right around 10k MT to work with, which it makes it tough that he only has 10k. But I don't mind his squad at all. Now there are a couple pieces I don't love, but overall his squad is just fine. Okay, and the main downfall I see when I look at this team is the small forward position. I don't love Kawhi and I don't love Jimmy Butler. Okay, more so Kawhi. I don't love Kawhi. He doesn't have a super high three ball. Doesn't come with great speed. And I mean, honestly, I think this card right here is a card I'm more comfortable using than a Kawhi Leonard and Nick Anderson. Plus, you can save that extra MT and put it to use elsewhere. Now, right now, before, obviously Super Packs come, I'm going to tell you guys to be pretty tight with your MT. So selling Kawhi, picking up Nick Anderson is the main move for this squad. Other than that, I think you're fine. The next really upgrade I think you need to make is at the backup center position for LaMarcus Aldridge. But until then, I would just hold on to your MT and rock out with this squad. Next squad here is set in by Unbeatable Jacob on Twitter. Says he has a million MT to work with. And as you guys can see, he's got a very well structured lineup here. I honestly like it quite a bit. Now, the one I see a few downfalls within the lineup, and I'm going to go over them. The first thing I don't see is Grant Hill. I don't see a Grant Hill or a Zion. And so here's the thing. I'm going to max out this lineup. And if you give me a squad, I'm going to max it out. Pierce, I love you, but you've got to go. I hate to break it to you, but there are better cards out than him at this point of the game. And then Michael Cooper, Jimmy Butler, I don't hate either of them. I am going to replace both of them, though. Klay Thompson right there. And then I am going to put Grant Hill right there into the lineup. And so now your squad is starting to come together. I still see a couple of spots that I honestly that needs improvement. The one is George Mikan. Now you can put Tim Duncan here, you can put Kevin Garnett here, you can put David Robinson here. Those three are all personal preference. For me, honestly, I'm most comfortable with Tim Duncan, but I think the best player for the majority of the community is Pink Diamond Kevin Garnett. And so plugging him in here, you're starting to see the lineup come together as a whole. Now, the next place I would honestly look to upgrade is this Diamond LeBron. But for now, especially if this is next gen, you are fine. This next squad here comes in by my guy Ethan. Says he has 1.1 million MT to work with. Now, he had some guys filling these spots, but they were all rubies and very budget players. Says he's no money spent, so that completely makes sense. So I'm going to build you kind of, not a budget squad, but kind of a squad for a guy that's looking to save some MT. So that's what kind of we're going to work with. And I'm going to still spend some MT, though. Just know that. So I think with Monte Ellis coming out, you can pick up a badged out Stockton for a lot easier budget than a Monte Ellis right now. So I'm going to add him right there. I still think Klay for his budget is absolutely lights out. So I'm going to plug him in right there as well. And to go along with Klay, another guy for a great budget, you might have actually had him in your squad, I don't really remember, is Nick Anderson. Great budget option. Like I said, if you're no money spent, I'm not going to spend 500k on your squad. We're still going to keep it on a budget, but Nick Anderson is a great pickup. A guy that I still think holds a lot of value is Diamond Paul George. Add him to the squad as well, and you're starting to see some things come together just a little bit. Now, obviously, there's still a lot of room for improvement, and here's where it gets tough. The power forward positions aren't strong in general, and combine that with the fact that he's no money spent, it makes it pretty difficult. Obviously, if it's my choice, I'm going to add Giannis, so we might actually end up spending about 500k to build a decent enough squad, but I'm going to put Giannis there to run it along KG. And then here's a situation at the power forward position at the backups. It's another kind of tough thing because you could pick up or you could move Paul George there if you wanted to pick up Grant Hill, but Grant Hill obviously is super pricey. You could go with, obviously you already have KG. You could go with D-Rob. You could go a lot of different ways. Maybe if you wanted to move KG here, you could pick up David Robinson there. But it's just, there's no right answer for this situation. And because I don't have a right answer right now, I'm going to tell you to pick up Boris Diaw for a decent budget, a decent price. And really, I think for a no money spent squad, you can rock out with this squad. Next squad here was sent in by my guy Gideon on Twitter. Says he has 40K to work with and he is no money spent as well. And just looking at his initial lineup, I like a lot of what he's got going on. Now, I don't like Corey Maggette at all, and I'll be the first to say that. But that might be the only thing I adjust. But with the adjustment of Corey Maggette, we might have to adjust some other things as well. So obviously, I don't love Corey Maggette, so I'm going to get rid of him. And it could be as simple as this. If you want to, the problem is I think Klay Thompson deserves a spot. That's the problem. And 40K is literally going to take it all for Klay Thompson. So if you want to stay on a budget, I guess you can keep Corey Maggette. Otherwise, you can maybe pick up an Andrew Wiggins type player or somebody like that. If you even wanted to try and experiment with something like this, you could do that as well, because Tom is super cheap. And honestly, this might be what I recommend you do. Move Bailey Howard to 3, pick up Tom Gugliotta for your squad, and rock out with this squad right here. Because you don't have a ton of MT to work with, and Googs is a lot cheaper than a Klay Thompson type of card. This next squad here was sent in by Buckshot. Says he has 2 million MT to work with, which is just absolutely ridiculous. And honestly, I only have one suggestion for this squad. I mean, what do you want me to sit here and say? I don't know what I'm supposed to say. The one thing I would say is if you want to max out your squad, you need the new Zion Williamson. He is absolutely incredible. And adding him to the squad over Dominique makes this legitimately, possibly the best squad in NBA 2K21. This next squad here is sent in by High on Twitter. Says he has 12K MT to work with and he is getting Chris Mullin soon. So he's wondering what he should do. The first guy you need to replace is Bill Laimbeer. Move Dino there, Nick there, bam, Eric Gordon. I love you, but Chris Mullin is got to be plugged in there. So once you do all of this, okay, that's the first thing you need to do. Then you need to pick up Tom Gugliotta, one of the newer cards in the game that is very versatile, underrated for his price in my opinion. Pick him up and now your squad is looking a lot better. For a budget squad, if you can pick up guys like Chris Mullin and the other unlimited rewards that can probably be plugged in here as well, you're going to be a lot better off. And honestly, selling a Bill Laimbeer, selling an Eric Gordon, maximizing the little bit of MT you got there, as well as picking up Googs and adding Chris Mullin, that is where I would go with your squad. This next squad here was sent in by 2K Legend. Says he's focused on his starting 5 and badging them out, which totally makes sense. But he asked what I should do for his bench with 112,000 MT, which I'm going to start it with the guy I've been saying a lot of, Gugliotta, and I'm going to add Nick Anderson in here as well. And so those two guys, those two budget guys are great to just start your bench off. And honestly, he said he had Aldridge on the bench, which I don't love LaMarcus, but he can kind of hold it down at the center position. And now you got a little bit of MT to work with, and you can, I mean, maybe make something work here. And so obviously at the point guard position, it's pretty tough with who we've got right now. You know, you can maybe put in Richie Guerin, Steve Francis, cards like that, especially if you can find one badged out, maybe even a Donovan Mitchell. And that's who I'm going to lean with. If you can pick up a Donovan Mitchell, that's who I'm going to add here to the squad. But there's a lot of great budget point guards out there. You just got to find the right one that fits your play style. And so adding Donovan Mitchell right there is a great addition to the squad. And you're still going to have a lot of MT to work with here for the small forward position. Now, if you want to go with Paul George, you honestly should have enough MT to do that. It's going to be cutting it close with Paul George, but I think that's where you should lean towards next. And then this is the squad I would rock out with. The last squad we are going to do here comes in from Apollo. Basically had all rubies and sapphires. Nothing really to build on. So what I'm going to tell you to do, he said he has 105K to work with, 110K. Sell all those guys and you're going to have 120K to work with. Same thing that I always started off with. Add Tom, add Nick Anderson, okay? And now you're going to have to pick up some budget pieces. And when I say budget, I mean budget. I'm going to add Steve Francis here. And this is all really off the top of my head. I'm going to add the centers that I always add, starting with Barg, and we'll put Rafe on the bench here. And now you're really going to start looking at a pretty, not complete roster, but it's starting to come together. You add Wiggins here. You're really starting to notice some things come together. And I'm not going to spend all your MT because I think there are, you know, other things you can use it on. Add Richie there. And then you're starting to see some things starting to look a little bit promising. Now, I don't know how much Michael Cooper goes for, but try adding him to your roster if you can get him. And then it's going to get tough here at the backup small forward and power forward position. This is where it gets really tough for me to try to decide what you can do. Now, I like Bruce Bowen. He's still super cheap, so you can add him at the small forward position. Then the backup four, I'm going to go with the guy in Bailey Howell that I personally like. Now, you're going to have a little bit of leftover MT, but this squad compared to your squad that's to start with is a big upgrade. And honestly, you can compete with this squad. All right, y'all, that is going to wrap it up for this week's episode of our My Team Makeover. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you didn't see your squad, I'm sorry. Hopefully, I can get to it next week. I do about 8 squads per video, so that's about 10% of the total squads sent in, guys. But I hope you guys did enjoy it. Comment your thoughts on any of these squads that I did down below. Who did I miss out on? Or if you want to comment your squad, maybe I can get to it in the comments, guys. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys and have a blessed day.